So let me ask you guys a question. What does it really mean when people say, I can't afford it? Are they saying that simply because they have cash in hand? Or are they saying that because they have the credit card and the ability to swipe? Or the fact of they can make the monthly payments? As you guys know, it's the later. That's usually the case. People can make the monthly payments and they can put in a credit card, so they say they could afford it. But in this video, I'm gonna challenge you guys. There's a financial principle rule that I follow that I think will help so many people out there when they make that decision. No, it's not the typical, do you want it or do you need it? It's not that. It's this rule. Can you buy it twice? It's such a simple but powerful rule, and it will get you out of so much debt. So if you cannot comfortably buy something twice without impacting your finances, well then you can't afford it. There's exceptions to this rule, and I will definitely explain it later on. But that simple rule right there will put you on a great path. You see, the reason why it's so important to follow that rule is it gives you financial stability. You don't always want to be teetering to the amount of money you make and you spend. You want to build a gap. And if you do that, you will create a nice gap. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to buy one of these damn new iPhones. It's like $1,000. Can you afford it? Most of you will probably say yeah. Why? Because you can add it to your cell phone account and you can make monthly payments for 2 years. You can't afford it if you do that. Can you afford it if you could buy it straight up cash? Well, if all you have is $1,000, then you technically cannot afford it because after you buy it, you're wiped out, no emergency fund. But what if you have $2,000? You could put $1,000 in emergency fund and you could buy your phone. Now that to me is affording it. You see, that rule is really powerful because now you know you have the ability to spend and save simultaneously. This rule is also powerful because now you're not draining your savings account buying some ridiculous crap. It's also gonna make you get away from using credit cards to make purchases. Let's be quite honest. So many people right now are in credit card debt because they continually purchasing things they can't afford. Some people might get paid $50,000, but they have a $30,000 limit on a credit card. To them, they have $80,000. That's not how it works. Your credit card limit has nothing to do with your net worth. And if you continue playing that game with saying, well, I could use it on the credit card and make the monthly payments, you're gonna be continually drowning in debt. The APR right now on credit cards are up to 22, 26, 29%. And if you think you'll be making these monthly payments, you'll be ending up paying for these cards for years. And all you're gonna be doing is paying interest to the credit card companies. So saying that simple rule, can you afford it twice, will make you stop and not do impulse spending. Now you actually gotta think before you start buying things. And you have to make sure you certainly have the money for it and it's not gonna impact you in any way. And yes, this rule might seem small, even though it's really powerful, but it's setting you up for a better future. Because if you start now with that mentality, you start saving, investing, and buying things and knowing, hey, if you're able to buy this thing for $1,000, you better make sure you're able to put $1,000 in a savings account. That small gradual thing you're doing will build you so much wealth in the future because now you're having this big gap. You put money in investing, money in savings, and you will never find yourself in a financial bind. Let me give you like a real life example that so many people probably experience now. The biggest thing is vacations. As you see, everyone goes on vacations, and even though they don't have the money for it, they justify it by saying, well, you only could do this once in your life. I'm gonna create memories. Now let's say you sit down and you plan a vacation and it costs $5,000. Are you able to get into a vacation twice? Do you have $10,000, $5,000 you can put to savings and $5,000 for a vacation? Plenty of people really don't have that situation. A lot of people end up putting on a credit card, which is it's a no-no. Can you afford it twice without your credit card is the big thing. Now, how many times you see people go on vacation, they're like, I can't buy that because I don't have money for it, or I'm really tight, or they come back home and they're broke. That's not a good vacation to be in. That's the worst. But now, can you imagine going on vacation, not having to worry about paying it back when you get home, not worrying about going there having to say no to the experiences that you want to try? Why the hell would you want to go on vacation and you can't afford all the meals, the food, the jet skiing, whatever it is that they're offering just because you went there on a budget and you were really, really cheap with it? You can't do that. And that's why this rule would make you get things that you only could afford. Maybe you can't afford that $5,000 trip right now. Maybe you could afford the $2,000 trip. That's why this rule is really, really powerful. Now, this really works with bigger items, not small things. You're not going to be in a grocery store worrying about, can I buy these eggs twice? Come on, stop. I ain't talking about that. These are necessities in life that you have no choice. But there's a lot of other things, though, the bigger purchases that will make you want to pause. Stuff that you really don't need, but you want. So even though this rule is powerful, it doesn't apply to everything. Like I said earlier, with groceries, it doesn't work. But also with bigger purchases. Let's say, for example, a house. You're not going to wait to buy a house until you have double the amount of money. Okay? Obviously, that's not the case. You might end up having to get a mortgage. A lot of people cannot buy a house with straight up cash. You get a mortgage, that's okay. As long as you get a mortgage, it's a very comfortable payment, 25% of your monthly income, then you're good to go. And especially with education. There really is no limit with education when it comes to having double the amount of money. Education is extremely expensive. Nowadays, it's really expensive. You're not going to be able to have double the amount of money in order to get your education. So with that being said, there's exceptions to the rules. So here's a few tips of actually how you could do that strategy. Number one is a budget. Budget. I know, a lot of people don't like budgets. It's horrible. You want to deal with it. But make it simple, guys. What I call it really, I have a spreadsheet that's called Rudy's Financial World. Any expense or bills that I have in a spreadsheet. So I know exactly how much it costs for me to survive and to live and to keep on paying my bills. Whatever's left over, that's for me to put money into investings, paying off debt, or whatever the case may be. Create something like that. That way you know instantly. Let's say, for example, at the end of the month, you have, I don't know, $2,000 you could put into your savings account and investing. Now you know, hey, I'm going to make this purchase on whatever it is you want to buy, sneakers or whatever. And you know you're putting in a huge chunk of your money into investments this month and you're only able to put $500 into your savings account. The sneakers are worth $200 and you really need it. You really love these sneakers. You know I have $500 I'm putting in a savings account. Well, now you know I can actually afford it because 200 times 200, 400 and have 500 to save. That's cool. 200 now you buy your item, 300 towards the savings account. That's good. And that's really, guys, what a budget is all about. It just gives you a good picture and a good understanding. That way you're not just winging it. Also delays your gratification. Now you can't just buy things impulsively because let's be quite honest, a lot of things in life that we don't need right away. We don't need the latest iPhone. We don't need the latest sneakers. We don't need the latest AirPods. We don't need all that stuff right away. We could wait. And that is extremely powerful. Building the ability to pause and say, you know what? I can't afford it twice. Let me wait. It's going to work out for you tremendously. Trust me, there's nothing better than buying something that you know you could afford rather than buying something that you know you really couldn't afford it. And of course, the biggest reason as well is you'll be able to build a good savings account. You'll be able to consistently save and not stop saving simply because of the fact of you all just want to spend, and not think about your financial future. You definitely need to have one eye on your financial future, and you also certainly need to have one eye on today. You certainly want to enjoy life, but you need to do it responsibly. So as you see, the buy it twice rule is really powerful and it can help you out in your financial journey. So before you make your purchases, I challenge you guys, ask yourself, can you buy it twice? I highly encourage you guys to do that because you will get into a better financial situation, which I want to see you in. Catch you guys in my next video. Thanks for hanging around. Hit the like and subscribe. Peace.